All right. Welcome to another live stream. I say this like there's people watching right now, because currently it says zero people, but surely people will um, come filing on in soon enough, hopefully. From the title of this stream is called The Ground Shook. That is because, for those of you who don't live in New York, or more specifically New York City, New Jersey, and I think also Connecticut, there was an earthquake today, a rather significant one, or at least significant for us because we hardly get earthquakes, or substantial earthquakes at least, in this part of the country. It was a 4.8 earthquake. It was at 10 a.m., I think. Yeah, 10:23 a.m. I was sleeping. That's what I'm always doing at that time. And I felt the ground shook, and immediately I woke up, and I at first I thought nothing of it because I figured maybe there was construction going on again behind the house that was making the house shake, because there were times where there were for a few years at one point construction workers were working on the road behind the house, and they were working on pipes under the road, and that and the construction involved slamming down on the road, breaking it open so they can, work on the road, work on the pipes under the road, I mean. And whenever they would do that, the house would shake a lot. So I thought, oh shit, the construction going on again behind the house, because it's been finished for a while, and the ground was shaking for like 10 seconds. And again, I was in the middle of a deep sleep, so I wasn't really thinking clearly. I couldn't exactly process what was going on in the moment. And I also and then I started to and then it kind of came to me. I was like, "Oh shit, is this an earthquake?" No, it can't be an earthquake. We've never had an earthquake here. Well, NYC has had earthquakes, but nothing like actually substantial, something that's gonna shake the ground that this much. But no, it was a 4.8. I checked my phone like a little bit after it ended. Again, the earthquake was only like, I don't know, 10 seconds long. And I saw a whole bunch of people on Twitter saying, "Oh shit, the ground is shaking." Did we just have an earthquake? So I was also kind of glad that it wasn't just me. I hear myself. Let me mute the audio. So yeah, I wasn't going crazy. That made me kind of happy. And also the other day, um, there was a storm and my basement flooded. My back still hurts from vacuuming up the floor with a water vacuum, and then whenever the water vacuum would fill up, I would have to take the bucket out, carry the heavy ass bucket to my uncle's shower, pour it into the shower, put it back in the bucket, rinse and repeat every time it would fill up. So again, that carrying a heavy bucket of water, of dirty water, might I add, for 3 hours on end does wonders for my back. I mean that sarcastically, of course. So yeah, not a fun time to be a New Yorker right now. Not at all. Anyway, I've been talking and talking and talking. There's some people in the chat right now. Hello, Mikey. Hello, Nintendo Dylan. I'm smoking weed with my friend William right now. When are you not smoking weed? Sup, bro? I heard about the earthquake, but didn't feel a thing. This is the first substantial earthquake New York City has gotten since, what was it? I know it's been over a decade. New NYC earthquake. This is the first substantial earthquake NYC has gotten since August 23rd, 2011. I actually remember this earthquake not because I actually felt it, but because um I actually remember what I was doing when it was going on. I was petting my cat Charlie. I didn't feel a thing. I didn't even know there was an earthquake until my mom got home from work and she said, "There was an earthquake just earlier." And I was like, "Really? There was?" It says here that Virginia was the epicenter of that earthquake that time. And I think this time the epicenter of this earthquake today was in New Jersey, I believe. But yeah, that time I didn't feel a thing. I didn't even know there was an earthquake. So today was the first time I actually got to properly experience an earthquake. There's a first time for everything. I remember right after this earthquake, like I don't know, 10 minutes later, I was trying to go back to sleep and I was drifting away into sleep. And then I got a call from my mom saying, there was an earthquake today. I was like, "Oh, really?" Yeah, I just felt it, and well, the call wasn't entirely pointless because she was the one who told me it was a 4.8. I didn't know the size of the earthquake at that point in time, and then after I hung up, we only spoke on the phone for like maybe I don't know 2 minutes at most. 10 minutes later, I was finally going back to sleep, and then I got an emergency alert on my phone. My phone was going beep, 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 and the phone was also telling me the obvious. There was an earthquake. It was a 4.8, and then and then after that, I was trying to go back to sleep again, and then I got another emergency alert. This one says earthquake in NYC. Aftershocks may be felt. New Yorkers can continue usual activities. Yeah, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna continue my usual activity at 11 in the morning, sleeping." And then I fell back asleep. What sucks though is it took me like an hour to fall back asleep. It's really hard for me to go back to sleep after my sleep was abruptly interrupted. I'm a very light sleeper. That's why I sleep with white noise playing because before I would do that, um, a lot of times there would be noise outside that would wake me up, like construction that was going on behind the house for a few years, or birds chirping, or people talking, or cars going by, or motorcycles going by, landscapers, all the sort. You know, I'm I've always been a very light sleeper. Like the slightest disturbance wakes me up and I have trouble falling back asleep afterwards. But yeah, today has certainly been quite an interesting day. I was very fucking depressed last night, so that earthquake provided some needed excitement, I suppose. I didn't know about the earthquake. William says hi. Hello, William. It's so rare here in New Jersey. Also, I was just listening to Alice in Chains' Dirt album. Today marks 22 years since Lane Staley passed away. Yeah, that too. Today's also 30 years since Kurt Cobain shot himself. And yes, I say shot himself. I'm not one of those Courtney conspiracy theorists. Please don't fucking bring that shit into the chat. Um, yeah. So today is certainly a fun day. I'm being facetious. I don't know if Maryland has had an earthquake before. Probably has, I'm sure. I mean, there have been earthquakes here in New York in the like 12 years since the last substantial earthquake, but they've all been like I don't know 1.3, 1.4, whatever earthquakes. You know, earthquakes you hardly fucking feel. and none were in my area. So yeah, again, it was definitely something because I've again never properly experienced an earthquake before. Hello, Tam. How you doing? R.I.P. Curtin Lane. Yeah, so unfortunate. You can't help but think of the alternate reality where they're alive, and a lot of these musicians who died, so fucking early, are still alive. Big guy 45s. What's up? I hope you're doing well. Much respect. Yeah, I'm hanging in there, I suppose. Again, depression was really bothering me last night. Don't really have any specific reason as to why I'm depressed. Just, it happens. I'm prone to random bouts of depression, here and there. It was funny reading all the people here in NYC talking about the earthquake, though. And then you get Californians in the reply saying, 4.8 earthquake. That's like another Tuesday for us. Which, yeah, I mean, I didn't really think that much of the earthquake, right after it happened. I was like, oh, the ground shook for like 10 seconds. Whoa, never felt that before. And, you know, I wasn't like panicking like some other people on social media have been. My mom was also pretty worried that, it was that maybe a stronger earthquake will hit here soon. I've been having issues with social anxiety lately, particularly at night. Well, I don't have any issues with social anxiety at night because I'm not interacting with people at night. So, yeah, that's just me though. I mean, I'm sorry that you're struggling with social anxiety, but yeah, my social anxiety hasn't been that bad lately because I have been interacting with people. So, well, outside of the internet, I mean, I'm talking to all of you right now, but of course, you are not all here physically. I sometimes get nighttime anxiety too. Well, I've always preferred the night over the day, mainly because usually my anxiety is calm at night. I mean, there are exceptions, of course. Sometimes I do get panic attacks at night and such, but I find myself, I don't have panic attacks on a regular basis or anything, but usually when I do have a panic attack, it is during the day. My anxiety is a lot worse during the day because, obviously that's when people are out and about. And at night, most people are asleep. So I'm less likely to interact with people at night. So therefore, the anxiety kind of washes away at night. And that's partially why I've always liked the night over the day. I'm mostly just by myself and at peace. The medicine I use is not working, so I'm going to talk to my psychiatrist about switching to a new medicine. Yeah, if your current medicine isn't working, you should definitely um look into, you know, other medication. I feel like shit when I listen to Given Up by Linkin Park and it's been helping. When I feel like shit, I listen to Given Up by Linkin Park. Yeah, sometimes a song that I really like helps too, especially if it's a song that relates to, a struggle I'm currently facing. Or sometimes if I'm listening to a song that hits a little too close to home, sometimes that just kind of worsens my mood. Like, for example, even to this day, nearly 4 years after my grandmother passed away, after a month-long battle, in the hospital with cancer, it's still really hard listening to the song "Cancer" by My Chemical Romance. The Black Parade is the only Chemical Romance album I've ever listened to in full. Maybe I should give the other albums a shot. They have a very small discography, so it won't be that hard listening to them. But, that song, yeah, it's a really nice song, my favorite on the album, actually. Well, actually, no, I think I like, another couple of songs more than that. I gotta listen to the album again, but that song is still really difficult to listen to. I listened to it around the time when my grandmother was still in the hospital, so, yeah, that song just evokes a lot of, you know, emotion. Linkin Park is a band I should listen to more, though. Um, I've, of course, heard Hybrid Theory and Meteor. Also heard Hunting Party and One More Light, but all the others I haven't heard. I've also struggled with nighttime anxiety too, but the only time it bothered me was yesterday. I see. Well, I hope you. I hope for the best when it comes to your anxiety. I hope you can, overcome it or at least ameliorate it. I remember a 4.1 earthquake hit South Carolina one year on Valentine's Day, and it can be felt in my part of Georgia. That must have been one Valentine's Day, one hell of a Valentine's Day for South Carolina. Have you heard Given Up? If not, check it out. Which album is that on? If it's on any of the albums I've listened to, then yeah, I definitely have heard it. No, it's on Minutes to Midnight. I have not heard that album, so I likely have not heard that song. Yeah, again, I mean, I should probably listen to more Linkin Park. One of the very few new metal bands I'm actually into. They count as new metal, right? A lot of debates on what bands constitute as new metal or not. I listened to Basket Case by Green Day for anxiety and Crawling by Linkin Park for my depression. Basket Case is a great fucking song. Crawling is pretty good too. But Basket Case, I can relate to that song quite a bit. I mean, just the opening lines alone. Do you have the time to listen to me whine? Um, you know, I can relate a lot with. I mean, there's 1,300 videos on this channel that are just me whining about subjects. I personally don't mind One More Light, but I can understand why some people didn't like it. Yeah, I'm really not a fan of One More Light. I really didn't like the sound of that album, and I find it kind of unfortunate. I really don't like shitting on that album because it came out right before Chester died. But even with the hindsight of Chester's death, I listened the first time I listened to that album was around the time it came out, so Chester hadn't died yet. So I just thought, ugh, this album is shit. Can't hopefully the next Linkin Park release is better. Well, that obviously didn't happen. And then Chester passed away, and well, he hung himself. And a few years later, I think in either 2020 or 2021, I gave the album another shot. I was like, you know what? This is Linkin Park's final effort, Chester's final effort. So maybe with the hindsight of Chester's death, I'll look at this album in a new light, new light. But yeah, I'll gain a different perspective on this album, and maybe I'll appreciate it more. Listen to it again? No, still don't like it. They released a previously unreleased song recently that was supposed to be on One More Light, but they cut it from the album. That song was okay. I mean, would have been probably one of the better songs off of One More Light had it made it to the album, but even still, it wasn't a song that really wowed me or anything. I liked Friendly Fire. Yeah, that's the name of the song. Again, yeah, it probably would have been one of the better songs off of One More Light, but that's still not really saying much because I still didn't care for the song that much. Texas had a 5.2 magnitude earthquake last year, but I never felt it since I live nowhere near West Texas. Yeah, that's how I felt, and that was my experience in the earthquake NYC had back in when was it? 2011. Again, I remember hearing people say, "Oh my God, there was an earthquake here in NYC," and I didn't feel shit. I don't know which part of NYC specifically it mostly affected, but couldn't have been my area because again, I didn't even know there was a fucking earthquake that day. I believe the earthquake that NYC got today, though, might actually be the biggest earthquake NYC has ever gotten. At least that's what my mom told me just earlier when she came back home. I know most of the East Coast got caught in a blizzard back in 2016. Yeah, probably. I might remember that. Chris Cornell died the same day, just one day, I mean, before One More Light came out. Yeah, and Chester killed himself on Chris Cornell's birthday. I don't know if there's a connection there, but it's still worth noting, I suppose. I recently started listening to the Birthday Massacre's music. They're really good. I've given that band a shot a couple of times because I would hear people I talked to praise that band endlessly. There were some YouTubers like UTF, for example, who, would had a lot of praise for that band, but I've listened to some of their songs. Never listened to a full album though, but I've listened to quite a few of their songs. Not for me, unfortunately. I didn't care for what I listened to. I might be the odd one out because I'm the only person I know of that has never cared for the band. It was the first blizzard I've ever experienced. They were really close friends. Yeah, I do know that Chester Bennington was really affected by Chris Cornell's death. I know that they were friends when they were both still alive. It's horrible. I'm sure it's horrible losing a friend like that. I mean, I was close to losing a friend like that in 2018. Not going to get into specifics, but I had a friend that attempted to take their own life, and it was definitely a time filled with a lot of dread, and it was completely out of left field because me and the rest of my friends had no clue that my friend was having suicidal ideation. But thankfully, he is okay today. He is still here, and he seems to be in a much better um, mental state than he was then. He played One More Light at Chris's memorial and almost cried while singing. I felt horrible for him. Yeah, again, I mean, lost his friend to suicide. That's enough to break most people. But yeah, maybe I should listen to more Linkin Park someday. I have told people, yeah, I'll listen to more Linkin Park because there have been people telling me to listen to more Linkin Park, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it eventually, I promise, but I just never do. Yes, definitely check out Giving Up. It's got me through tough days. Yeah, I mean, there've been plenty of days where the only thing I had to confide in was music. So in the same week, my house flooded and we got an earthquake. I wonder what next week has in store for my area. It's definitely been a fun couple of days. Again, my back still hurts from carrying a heavy bucket over and over again for 3 hours. There was thunderstorms here. Yeah, there like I said at the beginning of the stream, there was a storm here that flooded my basement. Again, it's been something that's been periodically happening um at my house since 2021 when Hurricane Ida came here and some aggressive wind. Yeah, I've definitely been getting the aggressive wind as well. I kind of like the wind though. This room has a tendency to get really hot, especially when the heat is on. So I open the window, get a blast of wind in my face, and I'm like, hell yeah, it feels good. But can you believe we're already in fucking April though? Next week is next week. Next month is gonna be May. That's usually when the weather gets hot here again. Oh, Jesus Christ. New England has been getting hammered with snow too. We had a lot of snow on one day this year, but it went away pretty quickly though because I think it rained the next day. So yeah, and usually when you do get snow, the ground is already wet from rain, so it usually doesn't stick. So it's been a while since we've gotten snow that stuck to the ground and has stayed there for a while. Fine by me though, because whenever we do get a lot of snow, who's the one that has to shovel it? Me, because there's no one else in the house that can do it. And I mean that too. Everyone else in the house is middle aged, so they depend on me when it comes to the more um physically demanding stuff. Even though I'm not the strongest person either. Still looking for a new job, something that is more slow paced. Do you still have your current job? I remember you talking about my server, how stressful your current job is. You still at that job or no? Me and my job coach Paige have a resume that we might present to the comic store in my area. That's cool. I assume you like comics. If so, that job may be good for you. Or relates to an interest you may have. I'm not working with the school system anymore, huh? I see. Yeah, I hear school jobs can really suck. I mean, I know firsthand that school, well, not exactly firsthand, but I've dealt with my share of teachers when I was still in school who really did not like their fucking jobs. Like, for example, I think I've talked about this guy before, but I had this teacher in 11th grade. He was a science teacher. He was new to my school. Well, he was actually working in another school that's in the same building as my school was in, because the school I went to was in a building that used to be all one school, but it was the whole building was divided into three different schools. And he was teaching for the other school that was in the building, and then he transferred over to us. And so he was technically, new when it came to our school. So I had him the first year he was teaching at our school, and he was pretty upfront. He was fucking miserable at his job. Always having to deal with asshole kids. My class being no exception. A lot of kids were really fucking obnoxious in that class. Typical high school douchebags. I kind of felt bad for the guy, but at the same time, he was kind of a douchebag. Not to me specifically. Me and him were, we never had any negative interaction with each other, but you could always just tell that the guy was fucking miserable all the time. Hated his job, hated the kids he was teaching. And he'd be pretty upfront, yeah, I don't like working here. I don't like these kids. I mean, I appreciate the honesty because I've had my share of shitty teachers who pretended to like their jobs and be like, "No, no, I like being here. I like all these kids," even though 100% fact that they do not like their fucking job and do not like the kids they're teaching. So I appreciate, the honesty, but at the same time, Jesus, dude, I feel really bad for you. And my mom is friends with another mom that she met in the PTA office back when I was in elementary school, and back when she was um, part of the PTA of my elementary school for 1 year. Um, she met this lady who her son I kind of knew. He wasn't in any of my classes, but I was familiar with him like in the hallway and such. The reason being her son was in the special ed classes, so I didn't really know him that well. I was never in any classes he was in because I was never in special ed. But um my mom still keeps in touch with this woman. They became really good friends. They still text each other semi regularly, and she now works as a lunch lady. As far as I know, she likes the job. She actually works at my old middle school, She actually started being a lunch lady when I was still in middle school, and she was actually at my middle school a couple of times, but, during that time, her job wasn't, she didn't have a permanent job at any school. She was kind of rotated around various different middle schools at the time because, she was still, I guess, in, training. But, she landed a permanent job at my middle school back when I was still in middle school, and, she's been there since. They're going to terminate my employment in a couple of months since I forgot to send a resignation letter. Oof. And I do indeed like comics. That's cool. I've read a couple of comics in my life, but I'm not really a comic guy. I've never cared for stuff like manga or superhero comics or anything like that. Around midnight and 1 a.m. a few days ago, there was a really strong storm and a tornado watch was issued for my area. One city near Atlanta had a tornado touchdown. Tornadoes sound really fucking scary and is something I hope to never experience. Well, I mean, New York City, I mean, we're not prone to tornadoes here, but we just had an earthquake here today, quite possibly the largest one in the history of this city. So I suppose anything is possible, but yeah, a tornado is much less likely here, though. They're more of a thing in the Midwest. But I've seen like really brutal videos of, people's houses getting fucking annihilated by by a tornado. I forget what video this was specifically, but I remember probably like 10 years ago or whatever, watching this video of I think a daughter and a father. They showed their house before the tornado hit, just a normal house. Then they went to their basement to take shelter from the tornado. And you heard the tornado just fucking wreaking havoc outside of the basement. Horrifying audio. Then they come out of the basement, their house is just annihilated. Everything is destroyed. Really chilling video. And there's plenty of other videos out there like that. I would say I'm glad that I don't live in an area prone to tornadoes, but I live in an area that, you know, tends to get hurricanes during hurricane season, and we've gotten our share of really bad hurricanes. And I'm pretty sure I've shared this before, but I've seen horrible videos of, the aftermath of hurricanes here, and or even videos taken during hurricanes. Like one video I saw when Hurricane Ida hit here. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this a couple of times too, but this video has stuck with me. Um, some lady's house, her wall just completely caved in. A huge fucking tsunami of water came coming in. Oh shit. Wait, did you hear that? I felt shaking. Oh my god. Wait, what did another earthquake happen? I'm not even bullshitting. I heard I heard some furniture in the room shaking just now. I felt it a little. That is wild. Didn't think that would happen on stream. What was I even talking about? Completely fucking sidetracked by that. But anyway, um, yeah. Um, wait. Let me mute the audio for a second. That was my mom asking me if I felt any shaking. Wow. Anyway, yeah, I saw this video of some lady's wall just completely caving in from a hurricane, and it was terrifying. Hope nothing like that ever happens here. We just get some flooding, which I guess that's um, that's one of the better scenarios, instead of our house just being just devastated. Where did I even leave off? Particularly manga. I don't read manga. I think I mentioned this before a few minutes ago. I'm sorry, I'm kind of rattled right now because I wasn't expecting another little earthquake to happen live on stream. But no, I've never really cared for comic books all that much or manga. I know it was a really big deal when the Dragon Ball creator passed away. What was his name? Akira, I think. Never read any Dragon Ball manga, never watched any of the anime. I think there was more than one anime actually. So I never really had much of an attachment to the guy's work. So, everyone else was grieving and I was just like I never even heard of this guy until he died. Which I'm not saying that as a slight to the guy or anything. I mean, he had a very long and successful career and made an impact on a lot of people's lives. But me personally, and it's always kind of awkward when someone beloved dies, but you never actually have an attachment to their work. So you see all of these other people grieving. Meanwhile, you don't really have an attachment to the person. But still, rest in peace nonetheless. There was a tornado warning a few days ago here. Yeah, again, tornadoes are something I hope to never experience. They sound really horrifying, especially if they're really strong tornadoes. Though the tornado didn't damage much, that's good. But I've seen my share of tornado videos where the damage is just absolutely devastating, and that's enough to make me, you know, be deathly afraid of tornadoes. Again, even though I live in an area that's not affected by tornadoes. Never experienced a tornado before since I don't live in the Tornado Valley part of Texas. Well, that's good. Hopefully you hopefully your tornadoes continue to not be much of a problem for you. Let's hope this doesn't become found footage. That would be something, right? All of a sudden we get like this fucking devastating earthquake, the whole house collapses, and you see that live. You get to see me die live on stream. Never experienced a hurricane. It's okay if you don't like manga. BNO News just tweeted that it was another earthquake. So it was another earthquake. Fuck. I mean, I already pretty much knew it was another earthquake. It had to have been. It was an aftershock. Yeah, I'm looking at Twitter right now. Bunch of people tweeting about it. Okay, I just felt an aftershock. This is crazy. Earthquake Twitter, I've returned. Was that an aftershock? Was there just an aftershock from this morning's earthquake in Philadelphia? Well, I don't live in Philadelphia, but I definitely felt the aftershock here. Felt nice little aftershock, felt like a subway rumbling under me, except I'm not in NYC. Well, I am in NYC, so I do know the feeling of a subway rumbling under me, even though I don't live under a subway, but I've been, in plenty of streets that have subways under them. That's kind of yeah, that kind of was what it felt like, a subway rumbling under you, or construction workers smashing the street behind me. That makes my whole fucking house shake. Or someone slamming a door downstairs because the way my house is, if someone's walking heavily on the floor right in front of the room, or again, someone slams a door downstairs or anything of the sort, you'd feel a little jolt. That's kind of what it felt like. Mikey here. Hello. I know Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed from Rocky, died a while ago. Didn't he die just recently? February 1st, 2024. I remember hearing about that. Even though I've only ever watched the first Rocky movie probably once in full, because I have an uncle who really likes the Rocky movies, and I once watched the first Rocky with them. Everything after that, or every time after that, I've only ever seen like bits and pieces of the first movie, or bits and pieces of the second movie, or third movie, or however fucking movies there are at this point. I heard sirens in the background. It's NYC. Here's sirens in the background every 2 seconds. In 2013, I remember a recording of a tornado coverage from a TV station in Kansas went viral, where the news crew and meteorologists had to take shelter. Must have been a really devastating tornado. Sirens go off here a lot too. Yeah, again, it's NYC, so you hear sirens all the time here. I don't think you go like 5 minutes here without hearing a siren, even in the middle of the night. I live in a suburban area of Maryland. The last EF5 tornado I remember was in the 2013 year in El Reno. El Reno, yeah, wasn't that a really bad tornado? I remember hearing a little bit about that. Actually, I think one of the most devastating tornadoes, at least in this country's history. I believe that's the one I'm thinking of. Because I'm not really a big weather guy, so I don't really look this stuff up a whole lot. But I remember like watching some videos or seeing some articles listing like some of the worst tornadoes ever. And I believe that particular tornado was mentioned in pretty much all those videos and articles I've read. Yeah, I'm scrolling through Twitter again, seeing all these people saying, "Yeah, I felt an aftershock." That's another reason to keep Twitter, though. not to post on it, but if you ever experience any of these, like, you know, weird occurrences, you get to see people instantaneously confirm that what you just experienced was indeed real. The worst two tornadoes in history are the super outbreak tornadoes, April 1974 and April 27th, 2011. I check Twitter occasionally. Yeah, I'm guilty of still kind of looking at Twitter sometimes. I don't post there anymore. I don't plan on posting there anymore outside of, sharing these streams because, the share button here on YouTube gives you an option to share on Twitter. So I'm just like, I have a Twitter profile. I have some people who follow me there, and I don't know if anyone still fucking looks at my profile on there, but in case anyone does, may as well share this stream on there, right? But yeah. Also, another reason why I keep Twitter is whenever a video of mine gets taken down and the appeal to get the video reinstated fails, my last resort is going over to Team YouTube on Twitter and saying, "Hey, I just had this video taken down for what I perceive as, an illegitimate reason. Can you please re-review this video because I even after appealing this video, I still do not agree with your decision. Thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time to reconsider um, you know, reinstating my video." 9 times out of 10 that doesn't work. But even still, it's worth a try because one time it did work. One of my EDP videos got taken down, I think for cyberbullying, and I was like, this is fucking erroneous because not once did I make fun of him, not once did I, say anything out of line. I mean, there was plenty of cheap shots I could make, like concerning his weight and such. But given the seriousness of the subject, you know, he was grooming minors. He met up with someone who he thought was a 13-year-old girl, to do very inappropriate things with her. Thankfully, it was just a decoy, but still a very serious situation nonetheless, considering this was a very popular YouTuber doing this with a very large platform. So I didn't make any cheap shots like that. So I thought the cyberbullying, the video being taken down for cyberbullying was just erroneous. And thankfully, even though the appeal failed, I went over to Team YouTube, and within, I don't know, like 3 to 5 days, they got back to me and they were like, "Yeah, we're sorry. We fucked up. This video doesn't violate our community guidelines. It is reinstated, and the strike you had on your channel is removed." So, even though that was just a one time, going over to Team YouTube has worked for me. It's still worth keeping Twitter, at least just for that, because you never know. Maybe someday in the future, whenever a video of mine gets taken down again, and yes, it's a matter of when, not if, maybe that, going over to Team YouTube over there will actually work again. Who knows? The El Reno tornado was the largest tornado in history, and it also killed some storm chasers too. Oh, really? Oh, shit. Wow. I remember just hearing it was one of the most devastating tornadoes ever. I didn't know it killed. Well, I figured it killed people, but I didn't hear about storm chasers being killed too. Though I don't post much. Yeah, I don't even reply to tweets anymore. I just the thought of posting on there, eh, yeah, that it really grosses me out. Reno reminds me of Folsom Prison. Johnny Cash performed there. His Folsom Prison album is actually pretty good. He also performed at San Quentin. That was really cool. More orders should do that. Performing at prisons. Give the prisoners their entertainment. Back when country, actually had some balls. Now these days, country music, I mean, seems to be all about respecting the flag, respecting our troops, respecting cops. Remember when country music was all about disrespecting authority? Miss those days. If an account has 2,500 Twitter Blue followers following it, they get Twitter Blue for free now. I heard about that. I heard the blue check marks are being forced on some people now. I guess Elon is kind of sort of backpedaling on the whole, you have to pay for blue check marks, and there's now some, a lot of people with large followings have check marks again, even if they don't pay for it. But you'll never see a check mark next to my name on Twitter. No, thank you. I don't have anywhere near 2,500 followers, and even if I did have 2,500 followers, I don't think all of those followers would be verified accounts, so they wouldn't have a check mark either way. But yeah, I just see those as a badge of shame now. You threw money at the richest man in the world, and for what? To be fucking prioritized under some stupid Twitter post, to have some stupid little tick next to your name. Thank God I don't use X or Twitter. Just keep calling it Twitter. X is such a stupid name. Like I've seen my share of stupid rebrands, like HBO Max becoming Max, or Dunkin' Donuts becoming just Dunkin'. But at least in those two instances, there is still the brand recognition. Like you still know that Max was HBO Max, and you know that Dunkin' is still Dunkin' Donuts. But X, going from Twitter to X, I don't know how the fuck anyone could think that's a good idea. The aftershock earthquake that happened earlier was a 4.0. Oh, really? Figured it was a little weaker than that. The only modern day country song I like is Tennessee Whiskey by Chris Stapleton. I never heard the song, and I don't think I've ever heard of the artist. I mean, the only country artist I kind of like is Johnny Cash, but that's usually everyone's exception, right? And I like some other country songs from other artists here and there. Like I enjoy some Hank Williams and such. Or Domino's Pizza just becoming Domino's. I didn't even. I've always referred to Domino's Pizza as just Domino's though, so I don't know if that's really a stupid rebrand. I figured that's what everyone calls the chain anyway. Just Domino's. Johnny Cash is my inspiration. I got into Johnny Cash's music at a really young age, at like age 5, because my dad used to let me use his computer, use Windows Media Player, and listen to all the songs he downloaded off of LimeWire, and that was my gateway into many, many, many of the artists I still listen to today. My dad's computer, and of course, his computer included a lot of Johnny Cash, and Johnny Cash was one of the first artists I got into, so he is very nostalgic to me. My dad liked a lot of, well, I wouldn't say a lot of country, but he liked quite a bit of country music. He was primarily, a rock and metal guy. Like a lot of the classic rock bands I still love today, I got into from him. A lot of, alternative rock bands, like 90s bands and such, got into from him. A lot of the metal I listened to, I got into from him. But primarily like 80s metal and such, old metal music. He I've mentioned this before, he was really big into new metal, still big into new metal. He says his favorite band of all time, it used to be Slayer, but now Slayer is a very close second behind Slipknot. Um, but now Slipknot is his favorite band of all time. And he listened to a lot of new metal when I was a kid around me. So you would think being exposed to that music a lot at such a young age would have gotten me into the genre, but outside of a very tiny amount of exceptions, no. Never, never really cared for new metal all that much. Certain people I know on the internet would probably murder me for that, but whatever. Burger King's old logo is pretty much nostalgic. The current is bland. I don't even know Burger King's current logo. I figured the logo that instantly pops in my head, the logo I've known since I was a kid, is still their logo. Burger King current logo. Oh wait, no, I have seen this logo. There's the before picture. Yeah, that's the Burger King logo I remember. And there's the after logo. I mean, not the worst logo I've ever seen before, but the old logo definitely had more character to it. That's the case for a lot of brands. Simplicity is all the rage these days, and I don't really understand it. And I've never been the biggest, logo person. Like I know this is like a hyperfixation for quite a few people on the internet because I've seen my share of like, videos of people like comparing old and new logos and such. And fuck, there's even plenty of channels out there completely dedicated to that. But I never really cared all too much about that. But I'll still say that I don't like the oversimplification of a lot of logos. It just strips a lot of character out. But I guess I'm in the minority because, if oversimplified logos weren't popular, all these companies wouldn't be doing it. Or, oversimplifying building designs like for example, McDonald's. I remember uh I remember the red roof and a lot of character those old McDonald's buildings had, but there was one McDonald's that's right by me that used to look like that up until recently. I think it was last year. They underwent major renovation, and now it just looks like any other McDonald's building, bland and boring. I mean, I understand it's better for resale value, but still, eh. I mean, not like I care all that much. Not like I eat a lot of McDonald's anyway. I listened to a lot of Spanish pop and rock bands that my dad had on his iTunes when I was a kid. Spanish music is also something that I never got into. I mean, my mother, not my mother, my grandmother was an immigrant. She came here from Ecuador, so she, listened to a lot of old Spanish music, but that's also music that I was exposed to a lot as a kid, but never really enjoyed all that much. Not to say I hated it, but just not music I find myself listening to all that much. I mean, the Dukes of Hazzard and Smokey and the Bandit were about rebels fighting cops. Yeah. My local McDonald's still has the old design. Yeah, hopefully hopefully it sticks to that design. Keeps the character intact, but don't be surprised if sometime soon that building goes under major redesign. Because I thought for sure that McDonald's right by me that still had the old design would stay like that forever, but no. Unfortunately, that building was also affected. I remember when AOL rebranded their logo to be simplified in 2009. Um, I I I don't remember that. Again, I don't really pay attention to the logo stuff all that much. There are people on the internet, plenty of people out there who are really passionate about that. My local Whataburger has never become oversimplified. It's just really depressing, seeing these buildings that used to have a lot of color and character to them just be oversimplified because that again, that's just all the rage these days, I guess. It's just bleak. That McDonald's is nasty and under budget. Oh, then maybe they'll keep that design then. Like I've said plenty of times, McDonald's is just a place I go to and there is just nothing else. But I will admit, having like a McDonald's chicken nugget every once in a while, you know, isn't the worst thing. Actually, my local McDonald's, they're pretty tasty. A KFC in a neighboring county is permanently closed. I got a KFC near me. My mom brings home KFC from time to time because her job is right by that KFC. Can't say I'm that big of a fan of KFC though, but if she brings it home, I'll still have it because there would be nothing else for dinner. KFC still kept probably the same logo because of the old guy in the brand. Yeah, Colonel Sanders. Yeah, I don't think they'll ever remove the Colonel from the logo. I'll be shocked if they ever do because it's such a recognizable logo. Well, then again, logos being iconic hasn't stopped companies from changing them in the past, so I like McNuggets too, yeah. And the fries too, I'll have. If I ever do, whenever I do find myself in a McDonald's, that's usually what I order, the McNuggets and the fries. I never really cared for McDonald's burgers, though. If I want a burger, well, I'll just have a real burger, not a fast food burger. But if I do absolutely have to have a fast food burger, I'll probably go with a Whopper. The one food in KFC that discontinued some time ago was the popcorn chicken. Popcorn chicken. Yeah, no wonder they discontinued that. That does not fucking sound appetizing at all. If it's literally like a popcorn flavored chicken. McNuggets are the only thing that I eat from McDonald's. Well, nice to see that I'm not alone in liking the McNuggets because, yeah, McDonald's is slop. It's fast food, no shit. It's gonna be fucking slop, but it's slop that I usually don't find that appetizing. Outside of the McNuggets, I like the McNuggets. I remember when Wendy's had yellow packaging. I live nearby a Wendy's. We do order from that Wendy's sometimes. Not often though, because that Wendy's is right across the street from a really fucking great pizzeria. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. So whenever I'm in that area, I'm going with the fucking pizza, not Wendy's. I'm more of a Wendy's burger guy. Well, I do like the Wendy's burgers too. I wish Five Guys wasn't so expensive. I don't think I've ever had Five Guys. Popcorn chicken is just chicken nuggets shaped like popcorn. Oh, okay. Had me scared for a little bit. I thought people were actually making like chicken that somehow tastes like popcorn. Because again, that doesn't sound very appetizing. Five Guys fries are my favorites. I also remember when Wendy's would get into feuds with other fast food places on Twitter and reply in snarky ways to other people. Oh yeah, I remember that. I forgot about that. They haven't done that in a while though, right? If so, if they stop doing that, thank God. Because that was just cringe overload. Again, another example of a company trying to be hip and cool with the kids. Yeah, look at us trash talking other fast food chains. Aren't we so relatable? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I guess, whatever. I don't find it very funny. Didn't they also make diss tracks too? Wendy's. I think I remember that. I think it was Wendy's that did that. I listened to it once and I was like, oh. Can we just put a fucking stop to these companies doing this shit? Marketing, where they try to be fucking cool with the fucking kids because does it ever work? Does it? Does anyone read these fucking stupid tweets from Wendy's and they're like, yeah, this totally makes me want to fucking go eat at a Wendy's? Oh no, they did. Yeah, yeah, I thought I remembered that. Speaking of pizza, the animatronics of the iconic pizzeria restaurant Chuck E. Cheese are all gone. Well, I think I've only been to a Chuck E. Cheese like twice in my life, so that's nothing earth shattering to me. One time my parents took me there when I was like, I don't know, 6. I didn't want to go. I don't know why I didn't want to go. I just really didn't feel like going to there, but my my parents were like, "No, let's go to Chuck E. Cheese. You see how you like it." I don't know why it was such a necessity for me to go to Chuck E. Cheese, but whatever. I went there and I don't even remember how I felt about it at the time because I was like, I don't know, 5 or 6. And then a little more recently, in like, I don't know, 2012, 2013, a kid that I wasn't friends with, but my mom is friends with his mom, had a birthday party there. And I went there and, made a day out of it, gave me something to do that day. I had fun. Never went there again after that. And I'm 23 years old now, so I don't think I'll ever find myself in a Chuck E. Cheese ever again. But I remember that kid. I haven't talked to that kid in a long time. He was the one I mentioned earlier, actually, the one whose my mom befriended in the PTA in elementary school. He was in special ed, so that's why I didn't know him that well. But I have been to his house a couple of times back in middle school because my mom would make me go to his house and hang out with him. And I didn't really oppose hanging out to him at first because, the kid didn't really have any friends. He was a really quiet kid, so, I wanted to hang out with the kid, you know, get to know him a little bit. But whenever I would go to his house, he would just ignore me, just play on his game, not say anything to me. So it got to the point where I was like, what the fuck is the point in going to his house if he's just gonna fucking ignore me? And then one time I was at his house. I think this was the last time I went to his house. I think I was in high school by this point, maybe. Or maybe I was in my last year of middle school. I don't fucking remember, but we exchanged phone numbers and I thought maybe this kid would call me. I never called him. Um, but he never did. Until I think 2018. He didn't call me, but he sent me a text message. And the text message really fucking spooked me because the text message he sent me said, "Hi, that is all." You might wonder why would that spook me? Because at the time, that was the that in the Wii U, you could, for those of you who had a Wii U back in the day, in the friends list you had your me say a little message. I put mine as "Hi, that is all." Same on the 3DS, and I forgot I had him added on the Wii U. And aside from him, everyone I had added on my Wii U were people I only knew online. And I remember when he texted me, I had just finished live streaming that day, so I thought, "Oh shit, did someone I know online somehow get a hold of my fucking phone number?" So I I was so close to sending him a really angry text message saying, "Who the fuck is this? How'd you get this fucking number?" Thankfully, I didn't do that. Instead, I sent him a message just saying, "Who is this?" And the kid said, "Oh, this is your friend so and so." And I was like, "Oh yeah." I had this kid. I added this kid on the Wii U. I completely forgot because when I did add him, I was like, I don't know, 12 years old. And by this point, I was like 16, 17. So it just completely slipped my mind. So that gave me a little scare. But for whatever reason, he got so offended by me saying, "Who is this?" And it is partially my fault because I never actually added him in my contacts list. So he just appeared as a random number texting me. But he got really offended by that, and to this day, the kid does not want to talk to me because all I did was ask him, "Who is this?" Yeah. I guess he assumed I forgot about him, or I don't know. He wasn't a kid I really spoke to that much, though, so. And every time I would go to his house, he would ignore me. He would just be playing on his Wii U, and Sometimes I would play with him, but he wouldn't even acknowledge I was there. So anyway, I don't even remember where this tangent even came from. Where did I leave off? I think from here. There was also a Wendy's Discord server. I didn't know that. Does it still exist? Not like I have an interest in joining it. I'm just curious to know if it still exists. We Beefin was Giga Cringe. Was that the name of the diss track Wendy's did? We Beefin? Again, like, does anyone even actually like when these companies try to be cool with the kids? Am I just out of touch? Do other people like it? Do teenagers like it? Because I only ever see these companies get dragged whenever they try to do that shit. Rest in Greece. Me and William are really stoned. Good for you and William. I wish I was stoned right now too. There was also a meme where the Wendy's mascot was drawn as a smug anime girl. Oh, haha. I've only been to Chuck E. Cheese's twice as well. Yeah, again, I don't think I'll ever find myself in a Chuck E. Cheese ever again because what the what business would I have being in a Chuck E. Cheese at age 23? That's a good way of getting yourself on a list. I'll be 23 in 4 days. Oh, happy early birthday. It's kind of surreal that I'm now 3 years into my 20s. I remember when I first turned 20 in 2021. I remember my cousin, who's a year older than me, asking, "So, what's it like being in your 20s now?" I was just like, I don't know, the same. Not like anything magically changes just because you're now a decade older. Same thing when I turned 18. For like a day or two when I first turned 18, I was like, oh shit, I am now considered a legal adult. I can vote now. Cool. And then the excitement wore off after like 2 days. Because again, just because you turn a year older doesn't mean things magically change in your life. If only that was the case. I'm pretty much too old to go to Chuck E. Cheese. I'm 22. Do you still talk to him to this day? The kid I talked about? Yeah, again, no. Probably asked that before I said that he doesn't want to talk to me ever again. Again, all because I asked him, who is this? Maybe I'm the asshole. I don't know because I completely forgot to add this kid into my contacts list on my phone. So again, that he only appeared as a number. He didn't appear by his name. His name is Michael as well. So it wasn't Michael so and so. It was just a phone number. So and again, he texted me copying and pasting what my little me message on the Wii U friends list. Again, I forgot I had this kid added in my Wii U friends list, so I thought, holy shit, did someone I know online or did someone who watches my videos somehow find my phone number and now they're texting me? Again, the situation could have been way worse because I was so close to sending him a message asking him, "How the fuck did you get this number, you fucking creep?" But thank God. Thank God I didn't do that because that would have been a much worse situation, more than likely. I turned 21 this year. Happy early birthday to you, too. That's drinking age. 2 years after turning 21, and I still have not tried alcohol, and I have no interest in trying alcohol because I have seen firsthand the horrors of alcoholism, and I'd rather not risk that because my father's side of the family, especially, struggles with alcoholism. Most of my friends from high school have moved, except for a few of them. Most of my friends in high school are still here. Some people I know, but don't really keep in touch with all that much. Um, have moved to other parts of New York, but none of them have like moved across country or to a different state or anything like that. And I am perfectly happy with where I am. I have no plans of ever, at least not this current point in time. I have no plans of moving or going out of state or anything like that. I don't even know how I would handle that because even going to Florida for a week in 2021, actually, the last week of April is going to mark 3 years since I went to Florida to visit my grandmother. It was the first time I was ever in Florida. Who knows if I'll ever go back? And you know, it was also the first time I traveled by plane. And at first, maybe like the first day and a half or so was kind of rough for me. I was feeling anxiety because I was in an environment I wasn't really familiar with, and it was the first time I've been, far away from home, multiple states down from where I am. So, that was a source of anxiety for me. I have a lot of anxiety surrounding change or like, big events and such. Even something as simple as like getting new furniture, that that can be a source of anxiety for me. Or like furniture getting rearranged. Just the newness of the situation, you know, can trigger my anxiety. But other than that, I had a relatively good time in Florida. It was mostly low key. We didn't do much. We went to some restaurants and such, but it was Florida when the pandemic was still not at its peak. By that point, the vaccine had rolled out, but it was still pretty bad. And of course, DeSantis land, so there was no mandates or any restrictions or anything of the sort. Anything that actually took COVID seriously. It was so bad. It sucks that I don't have any other methods to contact my Wii U friends. Oh, I have a long list of people I knew on Miiverse that I know I am probably never going to speak to again. Not for any, bad reason, like I had a falling out with these people or anything of the sort. They're just people I just lost contact with after I left Miiverse. They never contacted me on YouTube or anything. I have no means of contacting them. Some people throughout the years have been like, "Oh, remember me? I'm so and so from Miiverse," and yeah. But I'd say like 99% of the people, well, maybe not 90. Well, actually, yeah, maybe 99% of the people I spoke to on Miiverse, I haven't spoken to in almost 10 years at this point. It sucks, but plenty of people you talk to in your life that you eventually just, you know, lose contact with. Applies to real life too. I never liked companies trying to be hip and cool either. I'm a little baked right now. Seems like a lot of people in my chat get baked when I live stream. That's flattering. I'll be 28 this November. Whew, 2 years away from 30. It sucks I don't have a Wii U anymore. I have no way of contacting my old friends on there. It's not that I care nowadays. Well, even if you still did have your Wii U, you wouldn't be able to contact them because, Miiverse is gone, and that was the only way to actually talk to other people on there. But yeah, my Wii U is rotting away in my closet over there. Um, who even knows if it still works? Because I heard if you have a Wii U, the Wii U has a defect where if it's turned off for a very long period of time, there's a chance that it's bricked and it's not going to turn on anymore. My Wii U might be one of those Wii U's with that defect. I don't know, and honestly, I don't really care that much to find out. Been drinking since 21. Used to know someone on Discord who'd get drunk all the fucking time and write some of the most absurd messages. Some people might know who I'm referring to. I felt the quake at work, and hey, finally caught up with your streams for once. Welcome, Luffy Monkey. I don't think you've ever been in one of these streams. Welcome once again. Yeah, like I said at the beginning of this stream, I was sleeping when the earthquake happened. All of a sudden, I felt the ground shaking, and I was like, "Oh, what the fuck?" I kind of sprang out of, well, not out of bed, but I sprang up. And it was a surreal feeling because I've never experienced an earthquake before. I mean, supposedly, in 2011 we got an earthquake here. It says it here on Google. August 23rd, 2011 was the last substantial earthquake NYC got, but I don't remember ever feeling anything when that earthquake happened. This is the first time an earthquake has happened here, and I have felt it. So that's substantial to me. And for those of you who were here earlier in the stream and are still watching now, there was an aftershock that occurred, like, I don't know, an hour ago when I was streaming. So that was crazy. I got to experience my first aftershock with the people in the chat. But yeah, that interrupted my sleep, and I had trouble sleeping for going back to sleep. I mean, for an hour. Whatever. I fell back asleep eventually. I have no interest in alcohol currently since an uncle of mine has gotten in trouble because of alcohol. Yeah, I have an uncle on my father's side of the family who was an alcoholic, but he was able to kick his addiction in the in recent years, and I'm happy for him. He also used to be a very, very heavy guy. He also lost a shit ton of weight. I completely lost contact with my father's side of the family when I cut my father off for a few years. I, only started talking to them again after my grandmother passed away when I reconnected with my father and I got to visit that uncle, and I was, surprised to see how much weight he lost and happy for him. He leads a much healthier life these days. I can relate with the change part. I also don't like change. It gives me anxiety. Yeah. Same here, big time. I know. I'm told this every time I feel anxiety in regards to change. Change is a part of life. Yeah, no shit. Saying that doesn't provide me any more comfort, though. But yeah, it's just something I have to deal with. I have anxiety with change too. The 3DS and Wii U game servers are shutting down on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Oh, yeah, that's happening. I forgot about that. Well, I mean, I'm sure they're already fan-made servers that people will be using after the official servers shut down. It sucks that the servers are shutting down, but the, the Wii U and 3DS servers definitely lasted a lot longer than I thought they would. When the Switch launched, I was like guaranteed within like a year they're gonna shut down the 3DS and Wii U servers, but here we are in 2024 and they're finally doing it. 7 years after the Switch launched. How the fuck it's I don't know how the fuck it's been 7 years since the Switch launched already, but somehow it is. But anyway, because that's what happened to the original Wii servers, right? Like a year after the Wii U launched, they shut down the Wii servers, which I don't even know why the fuck they did that because the Wii U had full backwards compatibility with the Wii. You could they could have easily made it so you could play your Wii games online on the Wii U. So like I don't understand Nintendo. They're so fucking backwards. I am 28 now. Oh, to the old folks' home you go. Would you consider trying to find out if your Wii U works or not? Maybe someday if I ever feel like it, but that day is certainly not today. I don't have much interest in reconnecting my Wii U right now. Not like I have any. Well, I actually no. My TV has three HDMI outlets. One my PS5 occupies, and the other the Switch occupies, and one is vacant. My TV also has AV outlets for the GameCube. So I could plug in my Wii U into the TV. It's just a matter of me, feeling like doing that. I never felt the 2011 one either, and I was at the park at the time. I remember when it happened, I was laying down in my grandmother's bed, petting my cat Charlie. Charlie didn't react at all to the earthquake either. Usually animals are more perceptive when it comes to those kinds of things. Or at least dogs are. I remember my uncle showing me videos of dogs reacting to earthquakes like seconds before the earthquake actually happens. It's crazy how animals have much better senses than we do. A lot of animals, at least. There's Pretendo for bringing the online play back. It also brings Miiverse back, but you have to jailbreak your system. Oh, well, I have no interest in Miiverse clones either. Miiverse appealed to me at a certain point in my life when I was 13, and I didn't have much experience with social media because I didn't have a social media account before using Miiverse. So Miiverse was my gateway to social media. It was the first online platform where I expressed myself. But now, I have YouTube and Discord and Instagram and Blue Sky and all the sort. I don't really need a, a social media site on a Nintendo platform anymore. And on top of that, a social media site whose administration thought it would be a good idea to limit how much their users could post in a day, including comments. For those of you who in the chat who didn't use Miiverse and didn't find me through those videos, um, There was a Miiverse update, and was it 2015 or 16? I forget which year exactly. Probably 15. Anyway, there was a Miiverse update where you were limited to 30 comments and posts a day, and it was a combined limit. So, you know, so that basically just destroyed any conversation that happens on Miiverse. Talking to your friends was completely out of the fucking question. You know, being limited to just 30 posts a day. Imagine if a site like Discord did that. You know, the whole purpose of the site is supposedly to connect with people, talk to them, and limiting people to only posting 30 times a day on your site completely fucking destroys the entire point of your goddamn site. But yeah, Nintendo thought that was a good idea for their social media site, and I'm pretty sure after that update, um, like most of the user base jumped ship because why the fuck would anyone want to stay on a platform that restrictive? I never owned a Wii U. I like the Wii U. I still see a lot of people shit on it online these days. It never really got like the GameCube treatment, in the sense that, a console came out and it flopped when it was out and people made fun of it when it was out, but now people covet the console and say it's one of the greatest consoles ever. Wii U never got that treatment, and I don't know if it'll ever get that treatment. Probably because most of the Wii U's library has been ported over to the Switch, so largely largely makes the Wii U irrelevant. But it's kind of sad though because the Wii U was actually a pretty solid console. I liked it. Miiverse update June 24th, 2015, when Nintendo announced your account gets a ban and other accounts get a ban as well. Was that also when the update that limited how much how many times you could post in a day rolled out too? Pen Pal World has limits like that. So dumb. Yeah, any social media site that wants to limit on how much you could speak to other people or write to other people rather is a site that's not worth your time because that is the complete antithesis to the point of a social media site. I wonder if Elon will ever set a limit on how many times non-Twitter Blue members can tweet. That almost happened like a year ago. Wasn't there like a limit on how many times you could tweet in a day or something for like 1 day or 2 days? Because I think the servers got overloaded. Other update, I believe, happened in July 2015, probably the 29th of July. I've rewatched some of my old Miiverse videos since, the 10th year anniversary of me making videos on this channel is coming soon, next month, end of next month to be more exact. So I've been feeling nostalgic and watching old Miiverse videos, and I was going on that Miiverse archive site to look at my old Miiverse posts, and I was thinking of making a video of that Giga Gamby parody video I made a few years ago, but alas, someone in my Discord server shared a screenshot that shows that the site is now shut down. So, oof. Kind of can't do that anymore. It's not like I had 3 or 4 years to make a sequel to that video or anything. Oh wow. I've been streaming for an hour and 44 minutes. This happens every stream, but I end up losing track of time, and I get surprised when I see that I've already been streaming for like over an hour and a half. Imagine people experienced earthquakes. One makes a post saying, "My parent died in the earthquake. Like this post if you care." Yeah, I think begging for likes after facing a tragedy like that is pretty callous. Yeah, I've never liked people doing shit like that. Last year, Elon set a limit on how many posts he could read in a day, unless he had Twitter Blue. Oh, yeah, it wasn't a post limit. It was a limit on how many posts he could just fucking read. I remember you made a short talking about it, and Elon stands made fun of you. Yeah, I remember that. I mostly remember like the Musk fans coming into the comment section and saying, "Oh, you're stupid," or "Elon improved Twitter. He's smart. He's way smarter than you." Yeah, not really worth engaging with. Can I have context on what happened? I'm assuming you're referring to the title of this stream. I live in New York City. The Upper East Coast experienced an earthquake today. The first earthquake I've ever experienced where I actually felt the fucking earthquake. So, yeah, kind of a crazy day today, I suppose. Oh, and also earlier in the stream, an aftershock happened. So, it's been a pretty eventful stream, I guess. Or you get comfortable. Fortnite live event IRL. I don't know what you're referring to. But yeah, I didn't think something like that would happen while I was still streaming though. Fucking aftershock happening. Apparently, what was it, like a 4.0 aftershock? Wild. A shooting game young kids play. Yes, I know what Fortnite is. I just didn't know what they were specifically referring to when they said Fortnite live event. I remember playing Fortnite a couple of times when it first came out on the Switch. I didn't really care for it. But that was like, I don't know, 7 or 6 years ago at this point. Maybe I would have a different opinion now if I tried the game again, but honestly, I don't really care that much. Online games in general have never been my thing. I'm more of a fan of single player games. Never touched Fortnite, too busy playing TF2. Yeah, probably a better game. For real, for real. Speaking of Fortnite, there was this one Dar Man video the creator ripped off was the creator ripped off was the Psycho Kid Thanksgiving video, which ripped off McJuggerNuggets OG video from 2014. So one dude ripped off another rip off of another video. Rip offception. Never played Fortnite either. Well, no, I've played Fortnite like twice when they first again when it was first announced on the Switch. I believe that was E3 2018, I think, or 17, whatever. Well, no, 18 because I didn't own a Switch until Christmas 2017. Anyway, um, Nintendo announced it'd be a free download, so I was like, oh shit, since it's free, I may as well try the game out, right? See what all the hype is about. Eh, again, played it twice and I didn't really care. And the kid in the Darman video had a Fortnite shirt. I prefer games like Uncharted and Red Dead Redemption 2. Nice. I love the Uncharted series. Well, never cared for the first one all that much, but the other three, great games. Never played that one Vita Uncharted game, though, because I've never owned a Vita. And Red Dead Redemption 2, fantastic game. One of my favorites. I also love the first game, but, the second game was just magical. The video was titled The Ground Shook, so I thought Queso jumped. Nice Ocarina of Time shirt, thank you. I believe I've worn this shirt in other streams too. One of my favorite shirts because Ocarina of Time is one of my favorite games of all time. My first Zelda game I've ever played, well, the 3DS version, but these days I play the GameCube port of the game. My second favorite behind Wind Waker. My third favorite Zelda game is probably Twilight Princess. Some people say the graphics in Twilight Princess, the original version of Twilight Princess aged badly, but honestly, for a GameCube game, that game looks really good still to this day. And Mario, Zelda, Sonic, New Super Lucky Tail, and A Hat in Time. Can't wait for GTA 6 to come out this year. Yep. Well, next year, I mean, to say. Yeah, looking forward to GTA 6 too. Should play GTA 5 one of these days. It's gonna be a banger. I also wish Rockstar would re-release GTA 4. Apparently, the main earthquake's epicenter is near Trump's golf club in Bedminster. Can we get like a 9.0 devastating earthquake there and have Trump be there? You can evacuate all the cool people that live in the area, and then the earthquake can happen. Speaking of Ocarina of Time, I also have an Ocarina of Time shirt too. Oh, really? Is it this same shirt or is it a different one? The fan-made Ocarina of Time PC port is Kino. Yeah, I've seen footage of that. It looks really good. Gonna attempt to no damage and 100% Ocarina of Time someday, by the way. Oh, good luck with that. Ocarina of Time running at 60 FPS. I've seen footage of that. Yeah, it's really weird seeing the game not run at a very choppy frame rate. Twilight Princess still holds up graphically. Yeah, I really don't get all these people, and I've seen this quite a bit online who say, the original Twilight Princess doesn't hold up that well graphically. I mean, yeah, no shit. Realistic graphics from a sixth gen game aren't going to hold up as well as, say, the cell shaded graphics with Wind Waker. But I have the GameCube version of Twilight Princess, and I think it still looks really good, like on par with like an early gen PS3 game. I like the morbid cartoonish style. Yeah, I really want another Zelda game with that art style. My laptop says it needs to charge. Ay, my back still hurts from cleaning up the water in the basement the other day. I have 3 GTA games combined into a disc, basically the trilogy game. Oh, you got the trilogy? Is it the remastered trilogy, or did you get like a bundle of the is it the really shitty trilogy version of the GTA games from a few years ago? I'm wearing a Kirby shirt today. Cool. It's the same shirt, just a size large. Oh, nice. I'm enjoying Ocarina of Time 3D, and it will become my second favorite Zelda game of all time once I finish it. Yeah, if Wind Waker didn't exist, Ocarina of Time would be my favorite Zelda game. Yeah, I know, very cold take. Ocarina of Time is a masterpiece and all that, but it's just how I genuinely feel. I love that game a lot. I replayed it a few months ago, in, I think February or whatever. How far are you into Ocarina of Time 3D? I have a lot of nostalgia surrounding Ocarina of Time 3D, especially because that was my favorite. Not my, I mean, that was my first Zelda game I've ever played. A bundled game, which is shit. Oh, did you get the remastered GTA trilogy? Because I've seen so many videos compiling like the most hilarious glitches you'll ever fucking see from those games. When I heard a GTA trilogy was coming out, a remaster of the GTA trilogy was coming out, um, I was like, "Oh, cool! I want to pick this up." But then I saw so many people trashing it, so many videos showcasing the bugs, and I was like, "Yeah, I think I'll pass." DK Oldie still hasn't acknowledged they were hacked. It seems. Yeah, you showed me the site getting hacked, and the hacker was showcasing how DK Oldies would jack up their prices egregiously, and I'm all for that continuing to happen. The hacker is doing the Lord's work. fuck DK Oldies and all these fucking online retailers that want to siphon money out of, you know, people who want to play retro games on, you know, unauthentic hardware. Hello, Michael. Hello, Sean. Macintosh, how you doing? I wanted to play classic GTA games because I'm more into classic rather than GTA 5. Yeah, I've seen people say the older games are better than GTA 5. I've also seen a lot of people say GTA 4 is better than 5. But yeah, I'd rather not touch that fucking trilogy bundle. Majora's Mask will always be my favorite. Yeah, I've tried out Majora's Mask. I played the 3DS remake, and I've also played the original, the original on the GameCube via the Zelda collection that came out for the GameCube. Hot take, but I never really cared that much for Majora's Mask. I never really cared for the well, the time limit was manageable, but even still, I wasn't really a fan of you know the only way to. Well, of course you could quick save, but I wasn't a fan of like if you want to have a save that you're confident in, having to reset time and then you lose a bunch of your items and such, and certain quests that you didn't finish, you would have to redo all over again after resetting time. Just wasn't really much of a fan of that mechanic. But I'm the odd one out because a lot of people say that's their favorite Zelda game. Hell, a lot of people say it's better than Ocarina of Time, which I can't say I feel the same. I've got the trilogy game in December 2021. I assume they patched out a lot of those bugs, though, right? No way the game is still. The games, I should say, are still that fucking buggy, right? Because Rockstar got fucking draxed on social media for that shit. Remember when, you would buy a video game and you knew you were getting a finished product? Pepperidge Farm remembers. I've gotten Zelda's letter. It's been a while since I last played the game, so you're up to Death Mountain then. GTA San Andreas was a very iconic classic game of all time. In fact, it was my first ever video game I played when I was 8 on the PS2 in the late 2000s. Then I played Vice City and grew up with Vice City. That's cool. I don't know if this is the first game I've ever played. Probably not, but when I first got my GameCube when I was a kid, one of the first games I played on it was a game called Nicktoons Battle for Volcano Island. It was uh it was a crossover game with a bunch of Nicktoons characters like SpongeBob, Danny Phantom, Timmy Turner, and the like, and it all took place on this one island that some monster from a volcano was destroying or whatever the fuck. I don't remember much of the plot. I remember playing through that game again when I was just a few years ago, just to kind of relive the nostalgia. And I was like, I liked this game as a kid. I didn't like it that much as an adult, but when I was a kid, that game was pretty much my childhood RE4 in the sense that I could play that game over and over again and never get sick of it. But now as an adult replaying that game, yeah, the the magic was gone. I didn't like it. It's always crushing when you revisit a piece of media that you loved as a kid and realize that it wasn't that good as an adult. And we are going back to Vice City and GTA 6. Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask are equally good. I just prefer Majora's Mask a little more. Yeah, I can respect that. I can see why people like Majora's Mask, but personally, it's not a game for me. I don't regret getting that Zelda collection though. I got it primarily for Majora's Mask because before that I already had a standalone release of the GameCube port of Ocarina of Time, but it also has other goodies in there, like a Wind Waker demo, and it also has Zelda 1 and 2 in its entirety. And it also has Ocarina of Time on there, so I also played Ocarina of Time on that disc when I ran out of save files on the other disc. I took a peek at DK Oldies and saw they're selling Pokemon Heart Gold for $300 and Luigi's Mansion for 85. Well, I don't know how much that Pokemon game usually goes for because I don't play Pokemon, but Luigi's Mansion, it's not $80, is it? Well, I know DK Oldies is selling it for that price, but I mean like through eBay and such, is the price really that high these days? I think I remember paying like $60 for Luigi's Mansion back when I got it. Yeah, still 60. This one's complete in box for $60, $59, 60, 60, 61. Damn, fuck DK Oldies. They're fucking jacked up prices. And them selling, fucking garbage consoles with dirt inside and shit for like, ridiculous prices. Fuck these online retailers. The trilogy's gotten better in later patch updates, but yeah, still unacceptable that Rockstar released that game when they clearly, well, those games, I mean, when they were clearly not finished. I know they hired some fucking mobile dev to do it, to do the remaster. So that explains quite a bit. First console game I played was Super Mario 64. I grew up with the DS version, and I still consider that the superior version. The first game I ever played was Mario Bros. 3 on the Game Boy. I was like 2 years old. I've never owned a Game Boy. The closest thing I've ever come to owning an actual Game Boy is the Game Boy player for the GameCube. My first video game was New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Yeah, that's the game that made me want to get a Wii. Because I remember playing Super Mario Bros. Wii at my cousin's house at one of her birthday parties one year. I was playing that with a bunch of her friends, and we were having such a great time. And I was like, I really want this game. I want a Wii. I had a DS at the time. I got the DS version of the game, and eventually I got a Wii a few months later as a present from my paternal grandmother, and I got Super Mario Bros. Wii as well. But honestly, I don't know if this is a hot take, but I prefer the DS version over the Wii version, personally. First game I ever played was some obscure rally game on the PC. I barely remember it since I was 3. A lot of the older Pokemon games go for several $100s these days. Makes me glad I don't play Pokemon games. And with that said, I'm going to end the stream off here. It's been over 2 hours now, 2 hours and 9 minutes to be exact. This was a fun stream, and again, I did not expect an aftershock to happen during this stream. That was something. And yeah, I also wasn't expecting a 4.8 earthquake here in NYC today. What a crazy day this has been. What a day to stream on. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Thank you all to those who were here before, who aren't here now. I appreciate everyone who tunes into these streams. You already know that. Anyway, yeah, don't have anything else to say here. Goodbye.